A lot can be said about what's going on at Verizon currently. They're obviously not doing the most consumer friendly things when it comes to increasing the cost of certain administrative fees. And now we've got price increases to certain plans. With all of that happening, obviously that is anti consumer for a lot of us. But we can celebrate from Verizon is their expansion of their N77 C-band deployment. Their 5G ultra wideband service is really catching on quite nicely. Since January when they launched, the network has expanded pretty fast. The deployment is very rapid. They're putting up antennas and radios at a very, very nice pace. I'd argue that it's probably faster than the AWS Band 66 build, in my estimation. If you guys are old enough to remember that or paid attention at the time, that was a pretty fast build. Now there it is a much more competitive time. They do deal with congestion in certain markets. They have AT&T building out. They have T-Mobile, which has gotten ahead in 5G and mid-band. So they're motivated and they're inspired to compete. But it looks like all indications are, and this can obviously be proven with data from Open Signal and Ookla and these, root metrics. They can kind of confirm a lot of things that we're starting to see. Now, there are some things going on behind the scenes that are happening that are good indications of the build. It appears that they are going to probably hit the 175 million pops by the end of this year. In fact, most estimations have Verizon pegged approaching 130 million pops live as of right now. I can't confirm that specifically to the T, but it makes sense when you look at the number of markets that have it deployed and the scale and depth in which they've done the upgrades. How many sites are upgraded? I mean, who knows? Verizon probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 or 75,000 macro sites. They have a ton of small cells, lots of millimeter wave. So it's really hard to track. But we're noticing not only more and more people are connecting to the ultra wideband, but we're also seeing in places typically we weren't seeing it before. Like, for example, the airport zones that were previously restricted, we're starting to see those starting to shrink. So the areas from which, surround the airports, maybe before we saw like a 8 to 10 mile buffer zone, those buffer zones have shrunk. So now we're seeing, maybe just a couple of miles as the comfort level of the deployment for Verizon is obviously a lot looser. And that's good. More people can connect to it. But it looks like things are pretty nice. And by the way, for places that have N77 deployed, a majority of network traffic is starting to be carried on that channel. A lot of people were wondering, well, how many people are actually connected to N77? I can't pinpoint the percentage specifically, but it is a majority. It's definitely well above 50%. Where the N77 5G ultra wideband is, customers are heavily relying upon it to carry the capacity needs of their usage on the mobile network. So that's pretty amazing, seeing that it's only just been deployed since January and a lot of sites are only being turned on now. So that's really nice. And of course, it has kind of like that Goldilocks, I guess, description where it's the frequency's high enough, right, to where, it's very fast and the bandwidth is there, and it's low enough that it actually has some carry and it's got good power and it's reaching and it's helping people. The way that we kind of know things are working out is Verizon is treating the N77 5G ultra wideband like AWS band 66, which if you look, it's pretty much on every tower site, most tower sites, and it connects from site to site. There's very little, disconnect. I can tell you guys here in my market, 90% of the time or more, I'm connected to AWS, which means when they have all the sites upgraded in my market, people will be on 5G ultra wideband 90% of the time when they're on mobile. Now, the indoors penetration, that's a little bit different, right? It's harder to get the higher frequencies indoors through building materials. So maybe that drops a little bit, but I would still expect a lot of people to be connected outdoors as well as indoors. In fact, if you're probably within a mile and a half of a tower site in the suburban or urban core, you're not going to have any issues connecting to N77. I've been testing it. It's been great. It's making a difference. It is N77 and 5G ultra wideband is to Verizon what N41 is to T-Mobile. and N77 is going to be to AT&T what N41 is to T-Mobile. It's their large scale capacity layer, and it's going to just get better as the channels widen. Verizon is going to get the rest of its spectrum here next year in 2023. They're working to early clear it, and AT&T's got 3.45 and 3.7 C bands, so those will be a carrier aggregation special in typical AT&T fashion. T-Mobile is going to look to shore up more of the N41 in this upcoming auction. Things are looking pretty good at networking, and this indication here of the data we're going to be seeing, I can't wait to get the full scale, you know, report from Root, and also like the Ookla and the, all these other third party testing firms. I can't wait to see how big of a difference the N77 is making on capacity for all the carriers, like, say, for example, like a year from now, especially as carriers are finally getting their full spectrum usage, because it's been kind of stuck in limbo as we're waiting for it to be repurposed and, repackaged for use in cellular. It's been used on satellite for so long. But I'm sure there's some interesting stuff in here if you guys want to discuss them. In Verizon's progress, doing really good things there, right? Where the N77 is, a majority of the traffic is being carried on that channel. The pops now approaching 130 million. They're probably going to hit that 175 million pops by the end of the year. No issues. I would estimate, and this is just my estimation, I'd say 15 to 20% of the macros across the country either have the upgrades or are receiving them now. And they'll continue to spend. They've already spent what? Like, they spent $2 billion before the stuff even went live. And they've spent $3 billion already this year. So that number is going to continue until they get to the $10 billion CapEx spend. And they continue to spend on other stuff like fiber and other upgrades. And they're still building out new sites, right? They're adding a few thousand a year. And it's things, I mean, regardless of what's going on with pricing and all these other things, the network is being built. And I think as a wireless networking, cellular networking tech enthusiast, I couldn't ask for anything more. These companies are at each other's throats for creating capacity. Very nice. And this is going to help people. Remember, this is mobile and it's also fixed wireless access. So it's something definitely worth noting here. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on anything discussed in today's video, some of the statistics that we have, some of the numbers that we've been able to kind of take a look at. And what do you guys think? You guys think they're going to hit their mark? You guys going to think they're going to continue to pace for the next year or so? Sound off. Comment section below. You are the voice of the people. The SMT Nation, let your voice be heard. Like, share, subscribe for more. Turn on that bell notifications icon so you never miss an upload. Links in the description for my Twitter handle. If you're not getting the notifications from YouTube, that should definitely help. Also, my Patreon page is there if you want to support us and get early access to exclusive content videos and other videos not found anywhere else. And all business inquiries can go to the Gmail address in the description. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Peace.